Hello everybody and welcome to this week's video. So in order to kick off this week's reading lesson, I want you to close your eyes for a second and take on this challenge. First, I want you to close your eyes and take a deep breath. And exhale. Okay, I feel better. Now, while your eyes are closed, I have a challenge for you. I want you to picture yourself in your mind. Really think about it. Think about what you look like. What's your face shape? How tall or short are you? Really picture yourself in your mind. Okay, now open your eyes. I don't know about you guys, but the first thing I pictured when I closed my eyes were my big old glasses here. And I also pictured about my light brown hair, and I pictured myself very, very short. So what did you guys think? I can kind of picture a few of you guys. I see big bright smiles, nice bright eyes, amazing hair for so many of you. Okay, ready for the next challenge? Here we go. So I want you to imagine that I'm gonna go ahead and ring up someone in your house, and I'm gonna ask them this question. How would you describe your child? Now, when I say describe, I'm not talking about the way you look. I'm talking about something in here. So I want you to think, what do you think people describe you as? Are you kind? Are you smart? Are you strong? Are you funny? Are you clumsy like me sometimes? Or forgetful like me sometimes? Okay, now come back. What do you guys think? How do you think others describe you? Ms. Garcia, why are we doing this? This is silly. I'm gonna tell you why. What we just did is look at your personal traits. So what exactly is a trait? A trait is something about you that makes you you. Everybody has very specific traits that make you unique and make you special, make you different from those around you, which is pretty cool. So, for example, the first thing we looked at are traits on the outside. What do you look like? Maybe what you wear. Then we looked at traits on the inside. Maybe if you're friendly or if you're kind, or how you treat others around you and how you carry yourself. Now, the cool thing is these traits are not only in the people around us, but they are also inside our storybook characters. Today, we're going to be looking at character traits. So, what is a character? A character is a person or animal or thing in your story, whoever the story is revolving around. So, a character is a person or thing in the story, and their traits are what makes them them, just like a trait makes what's you, you. So, there are two different kinds of traits you can look at when looking at a character or looking at a person. The very first trait that we look at are our external traits. Now, the cool thing about the word external, it tells you it's really, really secret. Right over here, X, kind of like exit the outside. External traits are traits on the outside that you can see. So if somebody asks you, what are your external traits, Ms. Garcia? Well, I don't know about you guys, but my external traits are I have medium hair, it's light brown, I have brown eyes, and I wear glasses. Those are my external traits, things you can see on the outside. If you can't see them, that's not an external trait. Other external traits could be your eye color, maybe if you have a big smile or a soft smile, maybe if you have wrinkles or freckles, anything you can see on the outside. Now, the other trait we get to look at are internal traits. Just like the external traits, internal traits have a little secret inside their word too. Take a close look. Internal, in, like inside your heart. Internal traits are traits on the inside that can be discovered through someone's actions, feelings, or dialogue. So all that means is by the way you act, that is how we can tell what your internal, what your heart is, internal inside you traits are. Now these traits we can't see. Now we can see someone is happy, but let's see if their actions show it. So some examples of internal traits could be if you're really friendly, if you're really outgoing, which means you like talking to others, or maybe you're really, really shy. You don't really like talking with others, you like staying by yourself. Or maybe you're really, really smart. Or maybe you could be really, really rude or really, really just fussy all the time. Those are internal traits that in order to find them, you have to look at someone's actions, what they think, say, or do. So we're going to be looking at some of these internal and external traits inside a character we know. We're going to be looking at last week's read aloud, Giraffes Can't Dance. So who is our character in Giraffes Can't Dance? It's going to be Gerald. first thing I'm gonna wanna do is really think. And if it's been a while since you've read this story, go ahead and go back to the video and rewatch it and then come back to this video. Don't worry, I'll still be here. So let's take a look at some of Gerald's traits. So I'm gonna look at external first. So remember, external means on the outside. When we're looking at Gerald, what do we see? So let's take a look at him. There's a nice picture of him on the front cover. What do we notice? I don't know about you guys, but the first thing I notice are his long legs just sticking out. He looks so tall. So that's something we can see. We don't have to know him just yet. So the first thing I'm gonna say is Gerald is tall. That is an external trait of Gerald. Without even reading the story, we can take a look at this character and say, he's probably tall. He's a giraffe. Now, the other thing I said is he has long legs. Super duper long, probably taller than me. Okay. Now let's take a look. What other external traits do you guys see? I know I spot one. Get it? I spot one. I'm talking about his spots. Okay, so I see some brown and yellow spots on him. So that's something else. He's brown and yellow. Those are some more external traits on Gerald. We don't have to know anything about him yet. We just have to look at him with our eyes. Now, the other thing I notice is right here on his face. Do you guys see what I see? It looks like he has a long neck and really long, big ears for hearing. So he has some large ears. Okay, so far just by looking at Gerald, we saw that he has long legs, brown and yellow spots, large ears, and is probably really tall. So I went ahead and stuck them on our handy dandy anchor chart. Long legs, tall, brown and yellow, and then large ears. So next, let's take a look at his internal traits. Now these can be a little bit harder to spot. So here is how I'm going to help you with this problem. I want you, when reading a story, I want you to see what the character does, their actions, what they say, and what are their thoughts. That's the cool thing about books. A lot of times we get to see what their thoughts are. Okay, so let's take a look at Gerald inside of Giraffes Can't Dance. Well, right here, Gerald swallowed bravely as he walked towards the floor, but the lions saw him coming and they soon began to roar. So he swallowed bravely. It takes a lot of courage to step out and dance around a bunch of animals, especially when you know you're not very good at dancing, which is what he was trying to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that Gerald is very brave or courageous, because I know I could never do that. He's more brave than I am. Uh-oh. I remember this page, do you guys? When he tried to run around, he buckled at the knees. So it looks like he kind of falls like a lot of the time. So another thing Gerald could be is he's clumsy. He kind of trips over himself a lot. Clumsy means that you kind of fall over stuff. Maybe you're not super duper balanced. And that's okay, it makes a good character. So just by reading on the first page, it talks how happy he is living here in the savannah or here in the jungle. So the first thing I say is Gerald is a pretty happy giraffe. He's pretty darn happy living where he's at. So just like that, we've made this little bitty table here to really tell us more about our character. So why are we doing this? By getting to know our character is kind of getting to know our best friends. We can kind of decide what they might do next and what they could be here on after. I have a challenge for you. In this next seesaw activity, I want you guys to find a character and figure out their external traits. I want at least 3 external traits and at least 3 internal traits, okay? Now, you can either use a book from home or you can use this week's Read Aloud, Arnie the Donut, which is also linked in this activity. Okay, guys, I'm super excited to see what you guys have to say. Until next time, I will see you soon. Bye.